Yes, my people, and welcome back to the finale of season 1 on the Why Always Jacko podcast. I said that I would bring, and I've delivered, and I bring you.
Yeah, my name is Dominic Efeotor. Call me Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a serving police officer in the Metropolitan Police. I'm currently in the firearms. I'm a firearms officer currently.
Okay.
I've done like a range of roles, from gangs unit to pickpocket unit to just standard safer neighborhoods, response team. I think that's it. I've done like just such a broad spectrum. I've been there for about
And lots of bits and bobs.
13 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
all
been there
right.
for a minute. So.
All right. Before we get into that, let's go back a bit. Growing up, what did you want to be? Did you actually want to be a police officer growing up, or did this come on late on in life?
No, not at all. So initially, I wanted to be an architect.
Okay.
When I was growing up, I wanted to be an architect, and then I realized how much math was involved, and I was like, "Oh, that's a bit much."
Yeah.
So I went to university, studied multimedia computing, and then it was just I got to a point where I was just like, "This is all long, and it's a bit boring."
Yeah.
So at the time, I had a girlfriend, and she was just like, "Oh, you know, you'd be a good police officer." And I was just like, "They don't want black people in the police." That's what I was always told. You don't really see much representation there. So I just sort of brushed it off, and then I wanted to go into the Marines. I remember, so I applied for the Marines, and then at the same time, I did the police at the same time just to appease like everyone else. My mum was like, "Oh, don't want you to get killed. Don't want you to go, blah 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 blah." So I was like, "All right, no problem. I'll do both. Whichever one comes back first, I'll pick that one."
Yeah.
I did both. The army actually came back first, and they were like, "Yeah, cool." For the Marines, and then they like called me in for like some interview or whatever, and then the police came back shortly after, and then my mum just begged me. She was like, "Please don't go. I don't want you to go to war. I don't want you to die." And I always used to say to her, "I'm gonna die anyway."
Yeah.
But I was like, I wanted to do something where it was active.
Yeah.
I can't sit down behind the computer all my life. Like, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do something active. So that's why I chose those two roles.
Okay.
But
So what age did you actually get into what age was you when you first become a police officer?
it was quite late. What? I'm 38 now. Making
say-
maths now. 20, probably about 26, 25.
Okay. Is that like a normal sort of age where they go to? 'Cause you don't really
So, I
see
don't-
young police officers, do you?
Nah, there's loads.
Is there?
Like now, you're getting 19-year-olds.
No way.
It's mad. Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't advise you to join the police at that young age, because a lot of the stuff, the conflict management, you learn those skills from like going to university. They're life skills. So if you go to university, if you go to college, if you play football, if you do stuff, you'll have to experience these things. And at 19, you haven't really done that yet. But there's a lot of young officers.
Is there?
A lot.
Talk me through what is the training and what qualification do you need to be a police officer?
So at the time, so this is contentious because I've had these
'Cause
arguments.
times have probably changed though, innit?
They have changed. So I've had arguments about this on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, with other officers.
Yeah.
Okay, right now, there's a graduation, a degree like route in which you have to have a degree, and then you gain one.
Right.
You go to university, you study, and there's one where you can be a special. I'm pretty sure that's still open. So you can be a special constable where you volunteer for nothing. You basically volunteer your time to be a
police
officer.
Is that
You get all the same powers.
is that the community support?
No.
Okay,
no. So the only difference, they wear the exact same uniform. The only difference is you'll see an S and a C on their shoulder.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
But they can still arrest you. They can
still
still
got the
fight you.
same-
They can still
same-
they can
still got
do
the same
everything.
powers. Okay.
They've got more powers than the community support officers.
Right.
So, but they're just doing it for free.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But if you do that, I did that as well. So I didn't need to. Well, I'll explain why I did it. But I did that as well. So those are the two routes. I don't know if they've opened a new one recently, but from mine, like the last time I checked, which was a few months ago, that's the only way you can get into the police.
Okay, and is it a long period of trying to get in there, training and stuff? What does the training actually like commence on?
So yeah, once you've started, it's so. Bear in mind, I'm going back to like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So for me, the training was I went to Hendon, and in Hendon, I think my whole thing was at Hendon. I'm pretty sure it was. You go to oh god. So I'm getting confused because as a special, you have. So when you're a special, you go off to this place. It wasn't Hendon. You go to another police station and you learn how to do all the police stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you start as a police officer, you go to Hendon. When you're in Hendon, it's like you're learning the law, you're understanding. They give you sort of training on conflict resolution. So you'll be in like a classroom setting, and like the teacher, so he is a teacher, he will come in and he's also a police officer 9 times out of 10, or he was one.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay, we're going to learn about like robbery and the definitions of robbery and how to apply it like realistically, instead of like there's the book. This is what the book says.
Yeah.
And this is what reality is. They sort of cross over, but some bits don't apply and some bits do. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And this is the way to apply it, like realistically. And it's just like that classroom. You go after a few weeks. You go out, and you like sort of go. I went out on like a bus with other officers, like learning. It's like furthering your
shadowing and all that. Yeah. At them times when you're out with them, does your powers like? Can you use your powers when you're doing them, or is it just basically just shadowing?
So at that point, they only let you go out once you've had your warrant card and you've passed like some of your exams. I would have passed all my exams, and I've been probably waiting to pass out. It's been so long, I can't remember exactly, so I could be a bit sketchy on some of them. But roughly, that's what kind of happens. You go away, you go onto the borough that you're gonna work on, and you may stay there for a few weeks, and then you will go back. But I think mine predominantly was at Hendon. You do a bunch of learning, and then I came back for further learning later on, but majority of it was at Hendon.
Is it true that you can't work in the borough that you're from?
No, you can.
Oh, you can, yeah?
It's advised not to.
So you just go and arrest all your friends?
Like, depending on who your friends are.
Oh, I don't know why. It was a long time ago. I knew a police officer back in the day, and I'm sure he said to me, you can't work in the borough.
Maybe then. So that could have been a thing back then.
It was a lot, I'm talking... pushing 18, 20 years. 18, 20 years ago. I was about 14. I can't remember.
If I wanted to work in the borough that I wanted to...
Oh, you can do that, yeah?
I can't see any reason why they'll stop me now. I don't think they would. Because I know of officers that work in the borough that they live in.
Oh, okay.
So...
Would you like to work in the borough that...
So...
Would you prefer not to?
In all honesty, without disclosing where I live...
Yeah.
Actually, people know, like, most people know the area that I live in. But anyway, I'm not going to say it, but the people that know. I would want to go back to help even more so. Because the borough that I live in, it's so wild. So you could probably guess from the way I'm talking about it, but it's so wild. And from my point of view, I don't think the police have got a good enough handle on it, and they need more experience there. So to put it nicely,
and you know your area as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's at the end of the day, that's your home, innit? And you want to protect that and make that a better place. That's totally understandable, man. I hear that. What did friends and family think about your career path? What was that like? Any pressure for anyone? Or I know you mentioned your mum didn't really want you to kind of do any of it, but did you feel anything from friends?
No, like all my guys, even the ones that would be considered, I don't know, unscrupulous. They ride with me, and they're like, we're calm. So the way I see it with my boys that may encounter the police in some points of their life or have, and they just don't like them. I've got no problem with people like, I don't like the police. People find that's weird, but I don't like them either.
No, I've seen it before, I've heard it before, yeah.
All my friends, my rule is, if you're doing madness, don't expect me to help you. Or don't, if you see me and I'm working, don't expect me to be like, oh yeah, I'll let you slide. It's not going to happen. So there you go. Those are the rules. Yeah. And if you don't like it, don't be my friend. Yeah, but none of my good boys are like that anyway.
Have you ever encountered
I've seen one guy I knew in custody. Like, no. Not like, oh, I can't, like, no. And I just kept it moving.
Did he see you?
Yeah. We like fully saw each other. And obviously, I didn't say nothing because there's no reason for me to get involved in anything. Yeah. So I just kept it moving. Asked if he was all right later on. Obviously, after I was like, you calm and everything. And he explained to me what happened. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Respectable, man. Talk us through about the roles and the steps. So you started off, what was your role within the Met Police when you first started off?
I was on Safer Neighbourhoods.
What does that require?
Safer Neighbourhoods is just
is that the gangs?
Nah, gangs was later on. Gangs was most recent. So Safer Neighbourhood is kind of like just walking around. So mine was a bit different. I was working in Westminster, so Oxford Street. There's no really neighborhood there.
Yeah.
So they sort of catered towards Oxford Street. So I was working on Oxford Street. So it was called Oxford Street, Regent Street, or Bond Street. It's called the Orb. So, but that's the acronym for it.
Yeah.
And I had Oxford Street. And all I really did is deal with like shoplifters and deal with anything that happened on Oxford Street.
Okay.
So if there's a fight, I'm going. If there's robberies, thefts, anything that happens, I'm going. And I would do the majority of all the crime reports that came out, which was going to be shoplifting 9 times out of 10, or pickpocketing.
Being on
that
Oxford
happens
Street
a lot. Yeah. And that was it really. I used to just do that, and that's where I learned a lot. Because I had a really good sergeant at the time, really knowledgeable. He came from firearms, and he's probably my like favorite sergeant to this day. Well, second favorite, it was joint top, but like really knowledgeable and just explained to me everything. He was just like on a level. So he was just like, look, Dom, you can come here, you can do absolutely nothing. I don't mind, or you could do as much as you want. I don't mind.
Yeah,
you can learn as much as you want to do, and you can just feel it out. This is what this is for you to just have fun with. And he always used to be there to support me. If I needed help, just call him, and he'd be like, yeah, it's cool, no problems. And he would challenge you to like challenge yourself, kind of thing. So that's the Orb was like that. It was just standard bog, just walking up and down. You'd see me walking in my uniform, saying hello to people. I'd go into like every shop on Oxford Street, kind of thing. Say hello to all the security guards. Just chat with people, really, innit?
Yeah, just make sure everyone's safe and stuff. So after that, where did you move? Is that when you went into?
I went to pickpocket. Did I go pickpocket? Yeah, I went pickpocket after that, and I was still based in Oxford Street. That's
Is that uniform still pickpocket?
Nah.
So now you switched it up into
switched off into like plain clothes.
How does that? How does that feel? The difference? Because obviously, when you got uniform on, people know you're a police officer.
Yeah.
Going into an undercover or plain clothes, whatever. What does the power feel like, or what is that feeling like going from plain for uniform to plain clothes?
So
people don't know who you are now.
Yeah, you mentioned power. There's none.
Okay.
So you just emasculated yourself as such. Like now, the only power you have as a police officer is your uniform, because people are intimidated or the authority. They respect it or they don't. Whatever it is, it's the uniform. That's all they see.
Yeah.
As soon as you take that off, I'm just another black guy.
Yeah.
So for me, my stature, my build, communication helps a lot. If you can talk to people, you can talk yourself out or into situations. You know what I'm saying? So being in plain clothes for me was calm. It was so easy.
What did you prefer out of the two? Probably being in.
They both have their pros and cons. Because sometimes I need to rock up somewhere and I need everyone to know that I'm the source of authority. So wearing the uniform, everyone's sort of like, oh, there's the police officer, it's calm.
Yeah.
Other times I sort of don't want to be noticed. So plain clothes is calm. I can just stand there while someone's having a whole fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I can witness the whole thing, or someone's stealing. So I can stand there. In my uniform, I can't stand there and watch someone steal from someone and then arrest them. They will just walk away. And that's that person gone into the wind. Do you get me? So there's pros and cons for both.
So how many roles have you actually had in the Met? Do you know, since you've been there? We've been there 13 years. It's a long time.
S&T, pickpocket, response team, gangs, firearms now.
Okay, so five, yeah. Let's go back to the gangs. What sort of areas was you covering, and what does the whole gangs unit thing? Obviously, it's massive on our streets. This whole gang thing and stuff like that. But how long ago was you doing gangs? Was it a little while ago?
Gangs wasn't too long ago.
So it's kind of recent.
Yeah, like in the last 3-4 years.
Or is it certain areas that you're highlighting? Or
so it's weird. So a lot of stuff would cross over. So I was based in Westminster still at the time.
Oh, you're still in Westminster?
But that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
So you deal with Westminster issues, but you got to think of Westminster's the middle, isn't it? Everyone goes there.
Yeah.
So if there's going to be gang fights at times, or there's going to be issues, it's going to be in Westminster, because people drive through Westminster, people catch each other slipping in Westminster. Do you know what I'm saying? So if people are trying to get people, it happens in Central a lot. So what you would find predominantly would get Lambeth. So Lambeth is literally Vauxhall. Vauxhall's covered as Westminster as well. So as soon as you cross that river, you're in Westminster, and you're there. You can just look across the river, and that's what was happening. So I'll deal with a lot of county lines, because you've got the train stations. So you've got Victoria Station.
Train station, they go far, the train journeys as well.
Yeah. So you've got all the county lines coming into Westminster. You've got all the south coming up, because what they want to do is establish their drug lines in Westminster.
Yeah.
Because if you've got the centre, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's easy to branch out from the centre. So stopping all of that was a big deal. And like Westminster's split into the north and the south because it's so big. So I was in the south. So that's why we had all of Lambeth.
Right.
The north is like a war zone.
Is it?
The north is mad. The north is all the Harrow Road boys.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Yeah,
so
of course.
The
Yeah,
north is mad.
yeah.
Like people think Westminster, like, oh, well, there's no gangs there. I'm like, okay, cool. Just look at the north.
Yeah.
It's like I say I'm glad I didn't work there. It would have been nice for me to work there because I think that with my team we could have done a lot for the community there. But it's
Is your team bunched up of the same people, the colleagues? Is it always mixed, or do they try and keep you with the same sort of team?
The gangs team.
Yeah.
Now the gangs team was a unit of maybe 7 of us.
Okay, so yeah, so
Hand-picked 7 people.
oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
Did you get on with every single one of them?
all of them are my brethren.
That's good.
Like
That's
I've
good.
left there. Like I still chat to them now, and even the people that have come, they came and left, still come.
That's crazy. So you did so you've had five roles within 13 years, yeah. Currently, why the change? Are you someone that likes to challenge yourself, like change, or a step like what? Where was the change?
So
Why the change? Sorry,
I'll give you an idea. Have you ever seen that fat police officer where his belly's hanging out his vest and he's sitting in the car? You know, the generic one where everyone's like, oh, he's eating donuts.
Yeah.
That's the police officer that stays in one role. He sits there, drives his car all day and he's happy. Me, I challenge myself. Every 2 years, I want to move.
Fair play.
Do you know what I'm saying? Every 2 years, I should be doing something different and getting better at my job. Different aspects
Have
of
a
my
feel
job.
of different things.
Yeah. So like, I've got experience across the board. So if you're saying, have you ever done this? I probably have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of officers need to like take that. Like, some do, in all honesty. Some do move around, but I think it should be something that's encouraged across the board, so you can be open-minded to all experiences. Because what happens is you get stuck in response team, dealing with 999 calls, and you think the whole world is like that.
Okay.
Because when you're on response, you only deal with people's worst day. No one's ringing 999 because they're happy. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So you're dealing with that. You're getting there, and it's someone with mental health, and you're having to help them, or someone's been stabbed, and you're like, this is in their mind. That is real life. That is how life is all the time. So when you see officers like online talking and saying, "Oh, all it is stabbing, and all it is this," that's because that's all they know.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I've been so many places. I'm like, nah, it's not like. I've spoken to the guy who stabbed someone's mum. Do you get me? I sit there like we're talking now.
Yeah.
We have in-depth conversations about how do we resolve this situation.
Yeah.
How do we make sure your son or your daughter isn't going to end up in a box? But other officers don't get those experiences.
Yeah.
So in their mind, they're just like, oh, they just stab each other, done. And to them, it's true. Like that's a reality, isn't it? But
so the change without the guns on that you're in now between the other ones, how easy is it to progress? Is it just going to your boss, or how does that all work?
so no, there's like an internal system. So the jobs come out internally.
Oh, just like how a normal job.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
internally.
It's just really the same.
The Met Police, the one thing I can say that's sick about this job, you can do anything.
Yeah.
If you name something you want to do, if I say, oh, I want to go in a helicopter, bro, you can go in a helicopter.
Really?
Yeah. Aviation is the whole thing. Call it India 99. The helicopter that goes, you know, the ones that when it's looking for people,
Yeah.
those are police officers.
Okay.
So there's a police officer that can fly a helicopter.
Wow.
Bear in mind, it's probably
I
only
thought
like 4.
they've just been like normal, just like pilots.
Nah, bro. That's the thing. You can be the guy that reads the map. You can just sit there. It's damn hard to get into.
You ever been in one?
Me, nah, I'm not a helicopter guy, bro.
No, you wouldn't ever do it. So going into obviously you're in firearms now. Obviously that would be a lot of training and stuff like that. Why did you want to get into firearms? Is that just the same, like you just wanted to change, or was this something that you wanted to do within the police force? Because when you speak to young people, I want to be a police officer, I want to be the gun police and stuff like that. Was this always your plan to go and be firearms?
Nah. Like, it was always something that was like interesting, but I don't even like guns. I'll be real with you. I don't like guns. I don't like the regimentation like of firearms. I don't like it. But I respect it. But if you're like, oh, do you like this aspect? No, not particularly.
Yeah.
To me, it was more of a challenge because a lot of people are like, oh, it's so hard to do this, and it's like, is it? So I'd rather show people as an example, it's not hard. Just focus.
Yeah.
Like anyone can shoot a gun. I'm not saying everyone's gonna be like some top shooter, no. But I'm saying, can you do this? Yes. So I've tried to use it as a way of encouraging other people to do it, and be like, well, if this is what you really want to do, look, I've just gone and done it. And I did it in a really, really difficult time in my life. Like, I don't really want to talk about it now, but it was hard, the hardest time of my life ever, and I did it. So there's no reason why you man all can't do it if you want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons I did it. Just like, I wouldn't say just for bants, but
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, why not?
It's how long have you been doing firearms for now?
2 years,
Okay, so you've been doing it a while.
something like that. Yeah.
Is there a next direction you want to go within the Met Police? What is the top role in there? Obviously, apart from being the top.
So a lot of people want to be, when they get into firearms, they want to be either close protection or SFO, specialist firearms officers. And they're like the top CT SFOs. They're like the top guys. They wear like nice. Their uniforms are so sexy. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you.
Is close protection the ones who do the royal family and all that? Like them.
So they look after the royal family. They look after like Prime Minister and other like.
So that fake hand is real.
The
fake hand is like, that is a fake hand that we're hearing.
I don't even know. What are we talking about?
So when they're protecting the royal family, everyone says that hand is actually a gun. This is what,
I don't even know.
This is what the rumors are.
Bro, I don't even know.
Apparently, when they're protecting the royal family, their guns are actually ready. You just can't see them.
I know where their guns are. I'm not going to say where their guns are. But I don't know about that. I haven't. This is the first time I've ever heard of that. I'm just not cool enough, innit? But close protection. It's interesting. Yeah. They've asked me to join. So it's mad. I'm not going to be able to join close protection after doing the stuff that I do now.
Okay, we'll get
like a lot of I'm not going to, I probably could to an extent, but it'll be a bit more difficult. The same for being an SFO, because the way that the dynamics work and the way that they have their little clubs and their cliques, a lot of people don't like what I do. They don't like the fact that I talk and be quite open and honest with situations and my experiences. But that will be most people's route. They'll be like, oh, I want to do close protection. The number of people I've done with my partner, we've done open days for ethnic minorities, because what people don't know is close protection have like 0.01 or 0.05% of black people.
Right.
I always said, how do you get 0.5% of a black person? But anyway, it's numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just being silly. But yeah, they do. That's what they had. So they came to me and they asked me to do a recruitment drive for them. Did it. Probably got about 13 black officers, because they only wanted black. Right. So before anyone tries to jump on me and be like, oh, what about everyone else? They gave me the brief. They wanted black people. I brought them black people. And from there, a few of them applied and passed and whatever. But that's a route that I think more black people should be looking into. Like, not just black, everyone.
Yeah.
So, because right now it's just white men.
Okay.
And like anyone can do the role. Do you know what I mean? So just apply it, because people want to do it. So just try, man.
Yeah, I think close protection is definitely an interesting thing. I mean,
if you knew what it entailed, you would.
Now, obviously, you obviously know a lot more. But that close protection, does that only highlight the real important people like the royal families, or can that be down to anyone? Like, not anyone, but just your usual normal millionaires that we don't really know about. How
not that I know of.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough. I know that they, like, as much as everyone else knows, and if I knew any more, I wouldn't necessarily probably be able to tell you. But honestly, I don't know, innit?
Okay. Let's go back. You was just saying about you don't feel like you could probably go and do that now, close protection, because what you do. You're very vocal on TikTok, very honest, and I respect that. And I'm all for people speaking up and highlighting the bullshit and all that stuff. You know, I'm really for that. So fair play to you for doing that. Let's talk a little bit more about one of the things that you speak about the most, racism within the Met.
Yeah.
When did you start really seeing that this is a thing with inside? Because I've got a quote. Well, not a quote. This is what the acting commissioner actually
the
said.
Acting commissioner? You mean acting as in acting, not
yeah, as in
sorry,
acting.
Because acting means two things.
Yeah, sorry. And he said that racism is real with inside the Met Police. It is.
Who
a
said
thing.
that?
I can't.
Was
remember.
it Mark Crowley?
The one
was
with,
it from my podcast?
The video, yeah. That,
So you're right. So it was that was Stephen House.
okay.
So that was
I don't think I
3 or 4 years ago.
I don't think I caught his name.
Yeah, Stephen House. He was quite well on my podcast. He was quite open.
Yeah, he was.
But what's mad about that? Not a lot of people have seen it. So you've got a lot of black people arguing and saying, "Oh my god, no one's gonna say that it's racist." He came out and was like, "Yeah, calm."
Yeah, I saw it,
but it's like sort of people just ignore it.
Yeah,
I'm like, no. Like if you ask them directly, they'll tell you straight. Mark Rowley, the current one, I don't know if anyone's asked him. Would he say it? I don't know.
When did you? What made you realize that this is happening? Any incidents that you picked up on?
Because I've got my TikTok. I got from my TikTok. I've got loads more. If you go on my Instagram, there's probably more on there. But there's loads. So the biggest one was probably when. Oh, there's two big incidents. There was the time my sergeant, it was an acting sergeant at the time, said he just rocked up and he was just like, look, I was just chatting to my boy. He was also black. We were just sitting down talking and he just said, why are you man talking? If I turned off the lights, would I be able to see you? Stop talking. And that was that one incident. And then the other incident, which just like doubled down, was the time I got arrested for my car, for stealing my own car. And I fully got arrested. And then it wasn't just that. It wasn't the arrested part. It was what happened after. It was, I got misconduct and then I got disciplined for stealing my own car.
What?
Yeah. So that was the bit where I was just like, I knew. I always, you always have an inkling and you're like, yeah, you can bring up examples. But this is when I knew that as an organization, like, they can do what they want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? They can sort of just go, meh. If I want to say this guy's guilty, I can say it.
Yeah.
If I can't say it criminally, I'll say it internally. And I'll, defamation of character. They'll just go, yeah, bad person. And no one can challenge it.
Going back to that, because what you just spoke about is what I had written down as well, because I was going through your TikTok and stuff. And that other officer that says, if I turn the lights off, will I still see you? He was given a final warning, right? And then promoted later on down the line.
Yeah, he's been promoted now, yeah. Like, we used to work in the same kind of office. So when I was on the gangs, he was like down the corridor. But I'll never see him, but he would never walk past me.
And then got a promotion later on down the line.
Yeah.
So this is when you're starting to think, well, like, what the fuck? I'm actually working with these racists now. Like,
yeah, like legit, there are racist people in
there's racists everywhere you go.
In the
Metropolitan Police,
there are racist people in the Metropolitan Police. It's just that once you, the annoying bit is once you've exposed it and you've shown them, and they've sort of agreed with you as well, you're like, you're not going to fire, man. And they're like, he's kind of sorry, innit? And you're just like, all right, cool, I see how it is.
And there was 2 of you that day as well.
Yeah.
So there's 2 witnesses, 2 against 1.
That story, I'm going to probably tell it. I'm not going to tell it today because I don't want to be insensitive to the other people that are involved.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a lot worse, depending on how you want to see it, than just what I told. I told you the part that I'm involved in.
Right.
There's more to that story.
Okay.
He shouldn't be in the job.
Right.
But it's something that I might be able to disclose later on because it involves other people and a lot of other things that are currently in the Metropolitan Police that people don't like.
Cool. Yeah, everything that I've got down is literally coming from your TikTok anyway. And obviously I know you're fine with that because your TikTok's very open and you're very vocal and stuff like that. There was one that puzzled me. It was one of the first things that I looked at was there's a police officer that isn't allowed to work with female officers. What the hell is going on?
I got misconduct for that.
Yeah. I watched. I don't know if you've watched the program recently. I don't know what it was on. It was on BBC or about the police officers and they're getting done for that being inappropriate with other colleagues.
Oh, was it just Catch a Copper?
Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah,
it just reminded me of that.
So on my Instagram, I do videos so on my TikTok, it's about, I call it story time. So most of the time I tell you story time about stuff that I've experienced. On my Instagram, it's everything else.
Okay.
So
I need to look at the Insta. I haven't looked at the Insta.
I've got videos talking about To Catch a Copper
Right.
and how they parallel. So they're called the DPS or the Professional Standards Unit or the Professional Standard Department, depending on where you are, whatever it's called. But professional standards, let's just call them that.
Yeah.
They're the ones in charge of investigating police officers
Okay.
for wrongdoing or alleged wrongdoing. To Catch a Copper is the first time ever it's been highlighted and been viewed by anyone. So we don't get to see how they work as police officers.
Right.
So we only see it from the other end.
Okay.
So like I've been investigated before, numerous times, and you're always left with this feeling of, I'm a police officer. I know how this should go. We all train similar ways, blah, 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 blah. These man, they just do what they want. And you can see it. And if people look at it, if you re-watch that show, you will actually see the way that they investigate it and how inappropriate a lot of the stuff that they do is.
Yeah, I was shocked at what I saw. I
so-
was surprised that it even aired.
Me too. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this. This is mad. And
At
if
first,
you
I thought, like, is this real? Is this an act? I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's insane. So, and what I implore people to look at, so watch it one time, have your emotional response. Watch it again. Now, remove all of the I hate police officers, he's bad, he raped this woman, or he smacked this person, or he took this baby. Ignore that bit. Just only look at the investigators and how they demonize people that they don't know if they're guilty or not. So you're going to find officers that have been found to have not done it at all, categorically. And the only allegation they've got is maybe a drunk person that might have seen something. These officers are like a dog with a bone. They'll go for you. They'll be like, what evidence you have? None. I just feel like man did it. Like, one officer says it on the show. He literally goes, the guy gets found not guilty in court.
Yeah, is that?
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's on the phone and he goes, oh, I can't believe it only took them an hour to come to this.
When he calls the person, the girl back, the lady back.
What does the lady say?
Yeah.
Well, we can't let him come back to work. What do you mean you can't let him come back to work?
Oh my God, that's crazy, that bit. I remember that bit. Yeah.
What I want people to understand is you're either no further action, NFA,
Yeah.
or you did it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
So no further action is the only outcome you can get to say you didn't do something.
Of course.
Yeah, regardless of whether the police messed up or not, you didn't do it. For them, man, they don't care. They're like, he's NFA, I don't care. I'm going for him. They're like, we're not letting this man come back to work. Let that sink in. They do.
Crazy.
And to go back onto your question about why I was highlighting race, this happens to black police officers 81 or 82% more likely.
You have every right to as well. You have every right to go and highlight that. Personally, of course you should.
Yeah.
They need to be highlighted. These sort of people.
You have to. I get in trouble for this. So I want everyone to understand. Where's the camera? I want everyone to understand. Me saying this gets me into trouble.
Yeah,
I get into trouble for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm in trouble now.
Yeah,
and I'll get into more trouble for saying it, but I don't care because it's the truth.
Yeah.
81%. Baroness Casey review. Yeah. So she was someone that was brought in to basically do an investigation into the police and see what's going on inside because everyone's institutional racism, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
81% more likely, or 81% more likely if you're black to be investigated for gross misconduct, which means you can get fired, than anyone else.
Right.
If you're Asian, it was approximately 60%. If you're mixed race, it was 50%. So basically, all of the minorities, that's more likely than white officers. And not to disparage the white experience, I've got white officers calling me saying the same things. I've got white officers calling me saying, I've had an allegation from my ex-partner that 10 years ago, I was controlling. This is the new thing that's happening in society, controlling coercive behavior.
Right.
I've got officers, it doesn't matter what color they are. I've got female officers saying it. I've got female officers calling me on Instagram, because I always tell everyone, if you're a police officer, shout me on Instagram. I'm normally playing zombies. I'll talk to you when we're playing, I'm playing computer, and we can just talk it out. I've got officers calling me day after day saying, oh yeah, like women, oh yeah, I was like sexually assaulted, or I was, this happened, I reported it, they did nothing about it. I always take stuff with a pinch of salt when people tell me. The way I look at life is everybody lies for whatever reason. Not because they're bad, but because sometimes you experience a situation in a different way to which it happened.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So I always go, okay, I'll take like 50% of what you said is true.
Yeah.
But then they show me. They're like, no, Dom, no, let me show you.
Yeah.
And they'll show me the evidence of like what's happened and how it's been investigated. And I'm like, these men really don't care. And the DPS, or the professional standards, I say they're incompetent. I get in trouble for saying that. And I understand why I can get in trouble for saying they're incompetent. But if Mark Rowley, the Commissioner of the Police, decided to have a massive uplift after Baroness Casey said they were incompetent and decided to put hundreds or even thousands of more officers because they can't do their job properly, I don't know what incompetent is then. Do you get me? If they weren't, the boss wouldn't say, "Rah, you man need to sort of have more people and you also need to do your investigations longer." It takes up to, 300 or 400 days for an officer to be investigated on average. That's average. I know officers that have been under investigation for 5 years.
No, that's mad.
Just imagine sitting in your yard and these officers don't get to go to work.
They're paid full pay as well.
You're getting paid top whack 50, maybe 54K a year to sit in your yard.
That's crazy.
And I know, I couldn't count them on my hand. So many officers, they ring me and they're like, "Yo, Dom, what's good? This is happening to me. This is happening to me. I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "Bro, I've been in so much trouble. I can tell you what to do. It's no problem."
Yeah.
And the Met Police, honestly, they don't. Okay, I'll choose my words carefully. They don't seem to care.
No.
I can't say they don't care. They don't seem to care. Because I raised this with Mark Rowley in the not Mayor's Hall, Town Hall, the Town Hall or whatever it's called. I can't remember. Sorry. Face to face. So when people say, "Oh, you're saying this on TikTok, you're saying this, oh, blah 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 blah," nah, bro. You see on my Instagram, I've got pictures with every single commissioner in the last 10 years. I go to their face and I say, "What are you going to do about this problem?" Mark Rowley didn't seem too interested in it, unfortunately. And that's the truth. I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he's more interested in getting rid of the bad officers. And he doesn't really seem interested in the knock-on effect that it has on everyone else.
Right.
Because he sees it as, I need to investigate everyone and get rid of all the bad officers. Yeah, cool, I get that. But we know by numbers, facts, that we disproportionately target black, Asians, and every other minority.
Okay.
So when you're going after these bad people, regardless of colour, because remember we had that black officer recently for raping and all the rest of it. I'm not saying black people don't do it, of course we do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when you do go after them, you need to sort of rein in your attack dogs and make sure they understand what they're looking for and doing their job properly,
Right.
and be able to do it in a reasonable time frame. Because 5 years.
Yeah, that's a
Bear in mind, I know an officer that was under investigation for 4 years, got accused of controlling coercive behaviour, and it was found so they got NFA'd criminally. Then they do an internal hearing,
right,
because they call it 2 bites of the cherry, or the apple, whatever. They'll do criminal, NFA'd. They'll do an internal one. The threshold is lower. The threshold is not beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
It's got no jury. It's the balance of probability, which is basically flipping a coin.
Yeah.
It's like, on the balance of probability, could Dom have slapped that woman in the face? Yeah, of course he could have. He's got 2 hands. Of course he could slap him.
Yeah.
So that's all someone has to prove. And they can just be like, whether they like you or not, yeah. It's not that simple, because you have other people in place. You have 2 chairs that aren't police officers that are actually quite balanced,
Right.
more often than not. But the police have lobbied, so that's been removed. They're no longer there all the time. So the chief officer gets to make that decision, which is Mark Rowley. He can say, "I don't want you in this job." So if man don't like you,
You're gone.
bye.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything about his integrity. I'm not saying he's whatever. I'm just saying that is a plausible outcome for certain situations,
Right.
which I don't think is fair.
Yeah.
Because everyone has biases. I have biases, so he's going to have some. And we don't know who plays into those.
Yeah.
So that's why it shouldn't be left down to one person.
Yes.
Should he be there? Yeah, of course he should be there to make a decision. But yeah.
So when you spoke about you get in trouble for this, what is that like? They're definitely watching what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, shout out DPS. They're gonna watch this.
Yeah.
They follow me on YouTube. They follow me on TikTok. They follow me on Instagram. I've got a misconduct.
What sort of things are they saying to you?
So
What you can say anyway.
So I'll paraphrase. It's a lot of, so I don't get in trouble. So, okay, let me give you background. My whole Instagram was started because Cresta the Dick said I could do it.
Yeah.
Face to face, me and Cresta the Dick, well, mom Dick. Well, that just sounds weird. Cressida Dick.
The old one who's just not.
Yeah,
long
the
gone.
two commissioners ago.
Yeah.
We sat down. She asked me to go on ZZ Mills. All them people, not her personally, but the Met Police asked me to go on ZZ Mills show. I was on ZZ Mills.
Yeah, that's where I first saw you. Yeah. That's
All
where
that.
I first started following you from.
I got misconduct for going on that. The police asked me to go on. I've got the emails.
And the proof wasn't enough.
4 years later, someone just didn't like me because they don't like the fact that I'm vocal, and they're just like, yeah, cool, bun him.
Yeah,
Misconduct.
They don't like that you're exposing certain things.
Yeah, I get misconduct now. I'm sitting down talking to the people, and I'm just like, yeah, here you go. It was your boss that asked me to do it, and they're like, oh, why didn't you tell me that in the first place? I'm like, bro, you should have done that. So these are the things that happen to me. They like all the time. So every time I go, like, I don't get in trouble for my podcast because I think that it's difficult for them to do it because every commissioner knows. So if they go, oh, how did you get, like, they'll be like, oh, who authorized you to do it? It's like, your boss, shut up.
Yeah.
But when I go on to other people's ones, they'll just be like, oh yeah, we can go after him there, innit? He said this, that's not appropriate. So they like to attack me about the black experience.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I am not the king of all black people. So how can I say that black people feel this way? And I'm like, because I talk to them.
Yeah.
Do you get me? They talk to me. They come to me and they tell me their experience.
Yeah.
They'll say, oh, well, and what they tried to do is they tried to trap me. I'm not allowed to disclose certain information. There's sensitive data. So like people's names and certain stuff I can't really disclose. I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
My experience I can expose. So, but other people's is quite delicate, and I wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
But they'll try and trick me into saying, they'll be like, okay, who was that person? And I'm like, bro, I'm not dumb. Like,
yeah, of course.
like if I tell you, you're gonna say I breached information, like breached data, then you're gonna say, oh my god, you don't respect blah blah blah, you breached this, and I'm like this is a silly game, and these are the things that they do. They like this has been consistent for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like, but I'm not gonna stop. I spoke to Mayor Khan. If anyone's seen that, if you check it out.
Yeah, so you challenged him a little while ago.
Yeah.
Didn't you? 2 years ago in the State of London debate. About the protection of black officers. What's changed since then, or is anything changed?
Nothing.
This was 2 years ago. Did I get the date right?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Roughly 2 years ago.
Nothing, and nothing's happened.
Let me say this. That's not his fault. So what people don't know is, so the way it was reported is as though I was like challenging him. I wasn't, because what people don't know is he's the one that did a whole report that it was happening in the first place.
Right.
So what I was saying to him essentially was, what are you doing next?
Okay.
But the way I didn't say it in those words. I could have articulated it maybe a bit better, but I wasn't trying to articulate that part better.
Yeah.
I just want to know what you're doing for black Asian people, but basically everyone that has been affected negatively.
I don't think his response was. I don't think his response made sense.
Yeah,
I don't think he was replying to your question.
To be honest, I put him on the spot.
He got completely thrown off, and he was talking about lawyers and whatever.
Yeah, and yeah, you think.
And reading through the comments, I think that everyone was on the same page. Like, what is he actually listened to Dom? This is what people were actually saying. Like, he's actually hearing what he's saying.
Nah, James O'Brien got onto him for that.
That's the LBC guy.
I love that guy.
He's sharp, isn't he? I listened to him in the van. You don't play about him.
Yeah, no, he got onto him, and then is it Sophie Linden, who's the mayor of policing?
Right.
She basically echoed what we already knew, which was disproportionately black, Asians, mixed race people, blah 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 blah, and what needs to be done. And she was correct, but it's not being done because all we have to do is go back to when the commissioner now, so Mark Rowley, refuses to say that the Metropolitan Police is institutionally racist. When Baroness Casey's already saying it is.
Yeah.
But he's saying it because he's like, because the definition and this and that, and he's trying to appease other people. I don't know who they may be, but that's damaging. Because the more he doesn't say that there's racism going on and there's mechanisms, because institutional racism, people don't understand what it means. It means that there's mechanisms, there's procedures which negatively impact black, Asian, whatever, maybe it's women or whatever. They impact us negatively. So they're in place now. And that system in the Met Police is the misconduct procedure. The misconduct procedure disproportionately affects us. So what we're saying is, how about we do something about it? But by him saying, it's not institutionally racist, it just makes all the people just come out and go, it's not true.
Yeah.
And they just continue with what they're doing, which isn't right.
Yeah.
and the numbers are there. Everyone's saying it's there, but the big boss is like, I don't really feel comfortable with that definition.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you know how damaging that is, bro? So
how does that make you feel going into work knowing that this is all going on? Because at the end of the day, I always say it to people, we spend most of our life at work. Yeah, we spend most of our days at work, 8 hours a day. We go home, 3 hours, few hours we're asleep, blah, blah, blah. You want to be happy. You want to be happy going work. Do you know what I mean? How does that make you feel when you go there knowing that all this shit is going on and nothing's getting done about it?
So initially, I remember like there's times when you just get frustrated and you're just like, bun all of this.
Yeah.
Like, it's long. What's the point? It's never gonna change.
Yeah.
I have those days. My partner, she's a massive like advocate. Like she's like my rock, innit?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like there's days I'm like that, and there's other days I'm just like, actually, do you know what? Just keep going, because I just look at it from this perspective most of the time. I look at it that when I have to speak to my kids, I've got 2 kids. When they ask me, Daddy, what were you doing when this was happening when you were in the police? I'm like, I did this, and this. Yeah, it may not have changed anything at all. Or maybe it changed the life of one person or whatever. But at least I can say, I did this.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Fair play, man.
And that's it. That's all I do. I wake up and I go, do you know what? I'll just challenge wrongdoing where I can. I'll highlight things. Because I get a lot of negative, all that bad vibes.
Yeah, all them trolls. Yeah, don't want. Yeah,
and they're like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
Do you get me? Why are you upset that I'm just telling the truth?
Would these people say this? Why just whilst you're at work as well?
Well, some know they didn't. A lot of them will say it online. No one messes with me at work. Okay. Not like you see me, innit? Like,
yeah.
And they all know I fight. So I fight Muay Thai K1, and I do that for bands. So a lot of them know, like, because it's all about that machismo stuff, innit? Especially in firearms.
Yeah.
If man them know, like, he can fight and he's prepared to fight you, they're not really gonna mess with you. But a lot of my team are calm. A lot of the guys that they all know what I do. We'll have in-depth conversations and we can disagree with each other, but it's got nothing. Disagreeing with people is nothing. It's calm.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that I've encountered that I work with, calm, but it's the others that don't want to have conversations. They just want to say what they want to say. They're setting their beliefs and they just think I'm whatever, race baiting or disruptive, whatever. And I'm just like, look, we can come and talk.
Yeah.
We can have in-depth conversations. But a lot of them don't want to. They just want to come.
So when you are getting pulled up for that, how regular is that? Because obviously you're posting every day, really, and your story time, obviously that's every day and all that. So when what are they doing? Are they letting it build up, or are they just pulling you every single time you go to work? How does it all work?
So my most recent was I had like 200 and something questions around my Twitter. So what they did, they just said, you said this.
Yeah, they've piled it all up.
Yeah, they piled them all up because the reality is the reason they have to clamp it. So this is what I say to police officers and what you lot need to understand. When you're in trouble, if they come with you with like 10 million things, you're fine. You're fine. That means they're searching, they ain't got nothing, so they have to clump all the stuff together to make it look bad.
Yeah.
If they come for you with one thing, and they only go for that one thing,
you're fucked.
You know you're effed. Like, you know you're effed because they got you, innit? And they're not interested in
anything enough, innit?
With me, they're chopping and changing every single week. They're like, oh, you did this week, you did that last week, you did that. It's like, bro, I've done all this stuff.
Yeah.
Why haven't you fired me yet?
Yeah.
Oh, because you'd struggle to fire me, innit? Yeah, because you know it's all rubbish and what he's saying is actually truthful. Like, when I say stuff, I've got newspaper articles. I'm like, look, Commissioner said it too.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're saying, so what's the issue? Is it because a black man said it? Is that the issue?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it. So
have the media tried to reach out to you about all this?
All the time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The time. I've been invited to LBC.
But then again, for like the media, look at the media though. The media they're just as bad though.
Yeah.
The media are just as bad.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the other day, that poor boy who died, that little Daniel boy. What was the article?
Lad
sword or something like that. Sword lad or something like that. But then I saw the other one. It was one of the other I think 13-year-old from Reading. good boy dies. I can't remember what it was. I don't want to say, but the difference in the two is just like
the narratives they tried to push, but it's divisive. But well, we got social media now, and we can report our own stuff, and we don't need to necessarily listen to all those bad press.
Yeah.
I just leave it out. I try to avoid it now at this point because it's there to trigger us. Like just leave it. Try not to get triggered.
Yeah.
Because we can sit down. I mean, you can have a conversation and the reality of the situations. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't have to go to the Sun or whatever it was, or whatever article it is, and listen to their just biased take because they've got a narrative and they want to push. So I try to avoid it nowadays. Okay. Man.
Just quickly as well before we move on, going back to what you said, you got arrested for stealing your own car.
Yeah, man.
So you must have said you're a police officer straight away.
No.
Oh, you just
why?
You just left.
I let every police officer do their job. If they think that they're doing their job, I let you do your job. I'm not going to be hostile.
Talk us through that moment. What the hell has happened?
That's a long story. I'll give you the quick story.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, quick breakdown.
I've driven back from North London. I live in South, so I've driven back from North. Pulled up outside my house. At the time, I was with my mum. Pulled up outside, sat in the disabled bay. Mum's disabled, so I'm chilling there, chatting to my brethren. It's like 3 a.m. Chatting to my brethren in the car. Car pulls up, looks at me. I look at them. Nothing. Drives down the road. Another car pulls up, boxes me, and I'm on the end of the road. So you know when they box you in. I was like,
is this a marked police car?
Yeah, they're both marked police cars. Boxed me, and I was like, rah, like I ain't going nowhere. Like my engine's off. I'm just sitting in the car. 2 female PCs. Well, one comes up to me and she's just like, look, we're looking for a robber, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, all right, cool. Well, nah, like I ain't seen no one. I've been there for about an hour, sitting on the road, ain't seen no one. She was just like, oh, okay, cool. Well, like, what are you doing? I said, I live here, innit? Like, I live here, it's calm. I said, look, to make you go away, because I don't want to talk to you. And I don't like the way she was talking. Like, so you could see the way the conversation was going. Because I don't like you, I'm going to make this easy for you. I'm going to let you search my car and I'm going to let you search me. That's what I said to her.
Okay.
I said, all you have to do is just tell me what you're looking for because that's the grounds.
Yeah.
You told me there's a robber. That's cool. Just tell me what you're looking for. Search all my stuff. You're not going to find it. You can go and leave me alone.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, cool. When I said grounds, that's when she got angry. She's got annoyed. She's just like, nah, why is this guy trying to mug me off? And then it escalated from there to the point where she's now, obviously I'm like, jumping in it because this is a long story.
Yeah.
She's reached into my car. I've got you saw my car. It's a low car. And obviously I sit low down. She's reached into the car through the window, tried to pull me out through the window like she's the Hulk. It's mad.
No way.
And then she's opened the door, tried to drag me out the car. And I was just like, look, you're not going to be able to drag me out the car because she's tiny. She's probably about 5'4", probably weighed about 60 kilograms max.
Yeah.
Not even that. Trying to drag me out of a car. So I was just like, look, I'll get out of the car if you ask me nicely. She then, after a while, asked me nicely. I get out of the car and she's like, look, tell me your name or I'm arresting you. I was like, rah, what power are you using for that? I said, my car's off. I'm not driving down the road. I haven't committed a moving traffic offence. I haven't why are we doing this? Why have we escalated to this? She's like, because I want to know your name and you're not telling me your name. I said, if that's the reason, you're not getting it. And let me just because I have to do this for all the people and the police officers that are going to jump in and say, yeah, but subsection B of the Road Traffic Act says that you must give your name. Yes, if they're trying to process me, and she wasn't. She wanted to arrest me for being a robber. And she said that she believed I stole my car. That was the reason.
Yeah.
And if you believe if I stole my car, I don't need to give you my name.
Yeah.
And for anyone else, I offered my driving license, but I didn't have it on me. It was inside the house. So I said, you can either go inside the house, you can ring the doorbell, you can take my keys, or we can all go in together. What do you want to do?
You still haven't, no. You still haven't identified as an off-duty police officer yet?
Don't need to.
No, don't do that. Okay.
No, because there's a reason for that. Because prior, I've been stopped loads of times.
Yeah.
I've told them, they call me a terrorist. So that's on my TikTok when I got pulled over. Because they were like, I gave them my warrant card. I rang my sergeant.
I got that terrorist one.
They were like, oh yeah, so that's what happened before. So I was like, well, Bundis, what's the point? If I'm telling you I'm a police officer, I'm proving to you I'm a police officer. Yeah. What's the point in me now doing that?
Yeah, well,
so
that
forget
sense.
it.
Yeah,
just
sense.
let you do your job.
Yeah.
Hopefully you go away. So that's what's happened before. So since then, I don't tell. To this day, I don't tell people. If you recognize me, you recognize me. I ain't telling you. Then we've got out of the car. She's asked me for my name. I said no. She said, I'm going to arrest you for theft of motor vehicle. Not because she wanted to process me, theft of motor vehicle. I said, all right, cool. Put handcuffs on. Then her sergeant's come.
This is crazy.
He's come up to me. He's just gone, what's your name? I've told him. Because he asked me nicely. He said, oh, what's your name, mate? I said, my name's so-and-so.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, all right, cool. Why didn't you tell her that? I said, she was rude. And she just assaulted me. I ain't telling her nothing.
Yeah, why should I give her respect back?
And then he was just like, all right, cool. We'll run your details. Make sure this is your car. Lo and behold, it comes back to register to that house. His car insured, blah, 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 blah. In between that, he's just gone, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a police officer. And then he's just gone.
Was she there when you said that at that point?
Yeah, they're all there. They're all just standing around me. I had about 5 or 6 police officers standing around me. I'm in handcuffs, by the way. They're all standing around me. He goes, and that's when it all went downhill from there. He just went, you think you're so smart? I'm like, wow, okay, cool. What's up?
Oh, there's me thinking that he's going to be easy on you from there.
No. That's what it made it worse, 100 times worse. He was just like, oh, you should have told us. Why did you make us take it this far? I was like, I didn't make you do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I haven't made you do anything. You decided to do all these things. Do you get me? If I've committed an offence, regardless of me being a police officer or not, you should still be able to do what you're doing, innit? Now, it's all sketchy because it's my car. No offences have been committed. You've assaulted another police officer.
Yeah.
You've wrongfully arrested someone. Now because the process for that, it's long because now you have to de-arrest me or you have to take me to custody.
Yeah.
Then you have to report it and say that everything that's happened. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, the misconduct unit are going to be like, well, what happened here? How did we get to this point?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And what's happened, he's squared up to me like nose to nose. I'm in handcuffs behind the back. And he's gone, you think you're so funny, don't you? Blah, 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 blah. And I laughed at him. I was just like, yeah. Like I said, and he's like, why are you laughing? I said, because you wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't in handcuffs. He's like, you want to bet? I said, 100%. I said, we can go if you want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he just walked off. The inspector comes around. They start searching my car anyway.
Yeah.
Even though they already know I haven't committed the offence. I'm a police officer. The car belongs to me. They searched my car. So unlawful search.
Yeah.
Then they leave. I asked for their shoulder numbers. They didn't give it to me. I said, all right, cool, whatever. Fast forward to, I then get a misconduct for stealing my own car. And what they did is they wrote a statement basically saying, oh, you, the inspector who searched my car that never spoke to me, didn't interact with each other at all. He just goes, you conducted yourself like a gang nominal. You shouldn't be a police officer, blah, 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 blah. Like, I've kept that statement because that statement's going to be my speech.
Yeah, yeah.
So whatever I do something great and they're like, oh, you want to give you this honour, I'm going to read that statement out. Do you get what I'm saying? Of me as a police officer. And the person doing the hearing, the meeting, was also quote unquote racist. And it's not me saying this is other officers. White officers have come up to me. They're like, who's doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, him. Yeah, they're like, no, he's racist, bro. Like my white colleagues are saying this. I'm like, oh, here we go. And even my federation rep came to me and said, look, if you just he's old school. Yeah, to me, old school means racist, but whatever. He goes, he's old school. So if you just say you're sorry and be nice, he ain't gonna give you nothing. Just like basically bow down to him. I said, bro, I can't get fired. So in the meeting, the worst I could get is a final written warning for like 2 years. So I was like, I can't get fired. I'm wilding. Yeah. So we went into the meeting. I'm going to gloss over it, innit? He's like, oh, if I was there, I would have dragged you out of the car and put you face down. You'd have been eating the pavement. I said, bet. Do you want to go now? He was like, what? I said, we could fight right now.
Definitely old school, innit?
I said, let's go. I was like, let's go. If you're going to talk to me like you're going to do that to me and talk, like you're involving yourself in a situation that you weren't even in, hypothetically, I said, that's totally inappropriate. So if you want to fight, we can fight. And then obviously he's back down because, why do you want to fight me? And then he's gone, fine, well, I'm going to give you misconduct. I got it for incivility because I'd laughed. This is the only thing they could get me on. They said I laughed at my fellow officers and didn't treat them with courtesy and kindness. And I said I laughed in his face because he's squared up to me. And they're like, I don't care. So that's the short story. Obviously, there's loads of parts to it.
Yeah, of course.
Loads more to
that's
it.
Mad.
But that's what happened with that one.
There's me thinking you then identify as I'm an off-duty police officer, and it just literally got worse.
Yo, I'm not the only one that this happened to. I had an Asian guy ring me recently, and he was like, same situation, similar outcome.
How powerful are the police?
Ridiculously, stupidly powerful.
I mean, we're starting to see it now. I say us. You also you're still a human being as well. You're still members of the public, away from being a police officer. And like you just said, you just got treated just like that. I think we can start to see now how powerful they really are. I've always wondered how though.
So
how powerful are they?
What I'll do, I promise you this. I'm going through things now. When it's finished, it's nearly finished, by the way. When it's done, yeah, I'm going to come back on the show and I'll explain to you how powerful the Metropolitan Police are. And you're just going to sit there and you'll probably fall off your chair. That's how mad it is. And it's even worse.
Let's get you booked in for season 2.
Bro, I'm telling you. I haven't even spoken. What I'll tell you is so mad that, like, people know me know what's happening.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not in the position where I want to talk about it. But when I do, I'll come and I'll sit with you and I'll tell you.
I can just tell.
And this isn't just me.
Response,
I can tell you that what's happening is happening across the board to several officers, and it's like copy and paste, and it's wild.
Scary.
The things that I've seen and I've witnessed, it's mad. But yeah, I'll come back and I'll tell you. But to answer your question, how powerful are they? They can do whatever they want. Anyone they want.
That's mad.
So it's scary. So people, like my mum says it to me all the time. She's like, "Oh, be careful, be careful, be careful."
Yeah.
And I know why she says be careful. She's worried they're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying, think about it. I'm saying all this madness. Well, madness. I'm saying all these truths. And it's like, these guys can kill you whenever they want.
Yeah.
And they're not stopping you. Why are they stopping you? Because it's probably true. So at what point do they go, "Oh, now we need to erase it"?
Enough's enough, yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's crazy. Boy, that's throwing me off hearing that. That's mad. Boy, we definitely have to get you booked in for season 2 on that one, man. You see, going off the back of that, how powerful they are. I've got 3 cases that I want to bring up. Obviously, it's gone. That probably has gone worldwide. We'll talk about 3 things. Obviously, spoke about him earlier. Cliff Mitchell, who's a former police officer, received a minimum jail sentence of more than 13 years after being convicted of 10 counts of rape, including 3 of raping a child under the age of 13.
It's mad.
I'll leave the middle one because that's going to roll back to what you do now in firearms. The second one, Sarah Everard, walking home from a friend's house. Gets stopped on Brixton Hill, lured into the car by an off-duty police officer. Wayne Cousins.
Policeman.
Identifies her he's a police officer and that she's breaking the COVID law because I think it was in the COVID sort of pandemic times. Rapes her, strangles her, disposed her body in the woods in Ashford and Kent. The third one is going back to the firearms unit. Chris Cabba, shot when was he shot?
Was it last year? 2
years ago. Shot by a police officer who's now been named and is facing trial later on this year. I see something about the Metropolitan Police Federation said that the colleagues we represent are hugely shocked and saddened and concerned over the decision to name the firearms officer involved in this incident. What's your take on this firearms one? And we'll go back to the Cliff Mitchell and the Sarah Everard situation. Only because you're a firearms officer now.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. The Chris Cabba one is going on. I can't talk about that. Even in terms of what the Federation said about how officers feel, I'm not even going to comment on that.
Right.
Because the police have already tried to put words in my mouth about I've been commenting on that one already. And I haven't. I don't talk about it at all. Because I know people that know, like, do you get what I'm saying? That are involved in this kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm never going to talk about it. And I'm talking about both sides.
Yeah.
So think about it, I'm a police officer.
Yeah.
And also, I'm from similar ends.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the police already said that I've been talking about it, chatting rubbish. But nah, I'm not going to discuss that. But the Wayne Cousins, it's mad. I'm allowed to talk about Wayne Cousins because everyone collectively hates him, which is a bit stupid. But why not stupid to hate him, but...
Is that because you are a firearms officer? Is that why they don't really want you to
No, so I can't talk about Chris Cabot. Is that what you're talking about? Chris Cabot's because it's not been finished.
Okay.
So it's got to go to court.
Yeah.
But
It's later on this year.
Yeah.
But the thing that powered me, and I'm going back to the whole powerful thing, is the family of Chris Cabot. So the mum and the son says that his watch was taken. They've seen
A lot of people
they've seen the watch on the incident. They've seen that he had a watch on the footage of the incident. Now, to me, a watch going missing, it sounds like it was an expensive watch as well. I can't really remember what it was. For a watch to go missing, it's unbelievable, because once something like that happens, a fatal shooting happens, that's now a crime scene. No one ain't going nowhere. No one ain't getting into that. That's the time. You don't have to comment. I'm just giving my opinion on this. I think like this is crazy how a watch could just go missing just like that after they've seen it on the footage that he's been shot with a watch on, and now this watch can't get this watch back. And this was 2 years ago, and this is still happening. I think that goes back to the whole powerful thing. Like, what the hell is going on? Do you know what I mean? It's mad. But again, like you said, respectfully, you can't comment that, and I get that. Cliff Mitchell received what more than
Cliff Mitchell's one's interesting.
This is recent, right? This one got recent. I saw this on my phone a little while ago.
Yeah.
10 counts of rape, including 3 of raping a child under the age of 13.
I think they happened historically, in the sense that, from what I recall, so I could be wrong, but from what I recall, he had allegations made against him, and he was NFA'd, I think.
Yes, I read. Yeah. That was in the thing as well. I just didn't write it down. Yeah, I remember.
So he was NFA'd prior to joining. And what happened is the vetting unit something happened with vetting. They didn't do it properly, or
the big CRB checks in.
And then because they didn't do it properly, or they didn't do it at all, or whatever happened, that he's got into the police now. And then after, because of what's happened to Wayne Cousins and you forgot David Carrick as well. He's another waste man.
Oh, definitely.
He's another big waste man. He's similar firearms. I'll talk about it in a sec.
Yeah.
But because of what's happened with Wayne Cousins, and they've done this new investigation to every single officer, that's happened.
Okay.
So and there's a bit of madness around that as well. But they've re-vetted anyone that's got an allegation of like violence towards women or sexual violence or something like that. But they've re-vetted all these officers, and then they found him that way.
Crept up.
Yeah, he should have never been in the police. He shouldn't have passed vetting. So, like the Met have corrected their mistakes, but he still committed offences while he was a police officer, I believe. I think so. I think that what happened is with his ex-partner, and he's doing madness with her. Like, he's just, what can I say, waste man, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's mad with these whole sentencing things. Like, that's not enough. That's not enough. Do you know
That's
what
a
I mean?
whole conversation about the judicial system and what's going on with that. But I don't know. I think that's more of a societal issue in terms of the government and the government.
Of course.
The funding for the judges to have enough judges and to be able to be seen and and places in prison. And it's all a knock-on effect.
What's your opinion? And just lastly on the Wayne Cousins one, that one just I'll never understand it, and you probably won't as well. Just like, he's a police officer, people who we trust, like, and he's just lured a random woman into his car. Off duty.
He's a waste man.
Did he get sentenced? What has he been sentenced yet?
I'm pretty sure he got life.
Did he?
Not life, but no parole. And they're trying to take his pension as well, which I think is a bit mad. But yeah,
it's mad. What and just on that, on the whole thing, what's your opinion on new identities?
In terms of
like, for example, remember them 2 boys who killed that little kid on the train tracks years and years ago, and they've done their time in jail. Now they've got brand new identities and they live.
How do you want me to answer this? Objectively or subjectively? Because subjectively, I've got children, and I can be like, if anyone kills my kids, I'm on smoke.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should be renamed. I don't even as a parent, I'm on madness already.
Yeah.
Objectively, looking at it as they are children at the time of doing it.
I'm just using them just as an example. Just using them as an example.
Like, objectively, they committed an offence when they were children. Should they have the opportunity to change? Yes. Should they have the opportunity to, like, in terms of being able to change means they're never going to be able to live their lives with people knowing their names. So they have to change who they are, move who they are. In that specific circumstance, do I understand? Yes. Do I agree? Depends. You ask me as a dad. As a dad, hell no.
Yeah,
I'm coming
it's
for
mad
them.
because
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I think one of the boys who actually grew up to, obviously he's a big man,
Committed another offence again.
pornography
Against
kids and
yeah.
stuff like that, and he still gets to keep that identity. Though. This is what I'm saying. You see where it's a bit.
So yeah, but it.
I hear you.
It's society. It's like how you want. Like me personally, I'd like to say I'm able to strip emotion away from situations and look at stuff solely objectively. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
So it's
hard.
difficult. It's
hard.
difficult. That's why I asked the question, how do you want me to answer it?
Yeah,
Subjectively
yeah.
or objectively, because I can give you each.
Yeah.
And I can understand both. But for society to run, certain things have to work in a certain way. Unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way, end of the stick, you're getting it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just not like society. Like, there's a lot going on now, and I think we just need to make a stand all together.
Yeah.
And start doing stuff collectively. And I want to touch on something. You know, I didn't get to touch on it earlier. I've spoken a lot about black officers, Asian officers, whatever. There are white officers that are going through similar things, and I said this on my TikTok. This isn't a page for black people and black people only, or black officers and whatever. Yes, I talk about black issues because I'm black, and that's all I experience policing as a black man. But I've got white friends, and I know white officers that contact me. They also have struggles. They also go through malicious complaints, because that's a thing in the Metropolitan Police. And I like to say to them, keep reaching out to me, and I appreciate you guys contacting me and telling me your stories, because I know they're just as true as the 81% more likely to be investigated and all of the other stuff. Those are true, and it's not being spoken about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, as much as like there are white men in the Metropolitan Police that are also being targeted. They're getting allegations of controlling coercive behaviour, rape that are found not to be true, and I'm talking about the actual people that didn't do it, and the professional standards units. They need to be better.
Yeah.
They need to be able to decipher who are the actual bad people and who are the people where it's like they didn't actually do this. You know, let's just allow it a little bit, or let's be a little bit more empathetic. That's where they need a lot more training, because empathy is not something that unfortunately the professional standards have. And I just wanted to say shout out to you lot, because I know that it's not just a black thing or a white thing. It's everyone struggles in the Met Police. Everyone's getting it. So yeah, but sorry, gone.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true, and I think it reaches out everywhere in life, because I read through comments and I see things and do you know what I see a lot of things like racism doesn't exist towards white people and stuff like that. I see it quite a lot, and it's absolutely bang on of what you're saying, man. I don't know. It's just this crazy world we live in. It's just you're gonna have there's gonna be these different judgments. People are gonna say this and say that. Is there any stopping it? No, I don't think there will. I don't think there will ever be. I personally don't think it will ever stop anywhere. I feel like it's getting worse. Racism's getting a lot worse. Look at it in football; it's getting worse again now. I feel like it kind of calmed down a bit. I've played football my whole life. It kind of calmed down a bit. Then you had the black and white bands from back in the day.
Kick racism.
Yeah, kick racism out.
And Ashley Cole came out and was saying that it's all rubbish.
Yeah. But I think now it's getting worse now. Will it change now?
Who do you support?
Chelsea.
Yeah, I can deal with it.
We're all right.
That's fine. Like, I got no problems with
We're
Chelsea.
all right. You're definitely Arsenal, aren't you?
Of course I am. Yeah, I'm agreeing them.
They could do it. I've got a funny feeling Man City might slip up to Fulham tomorrow.
That's the team that I was calling. I told everyone, I said, Fulham is the team. Everyone laughed when we lost to them.
Cottage. Everyone's saying, Tottenham are their bogey team, but I've got a feeling Craven Cottage could
Tottenham
be
ain't doing nothing. Let's just be
No. Tottenham won't do nothing. No.
Tottenham just...
All you got to do is kick the ball over the top.
Yeah, like Tottenham are dead.
No.
But Fulham, and I called it last night about Man United, Crystal Palace. Even if Man United had their whole team, Crystal Palace would have battered them.
Yeah.
I said, when they've got nothing to lose,
they wipe the floor.
Them man... they'll beat anyone on their day. Like if you just tell them, like just go have fun, just go. It's not even a real game, guys. Eze and Elise are gonna just take.
Yeah, they made that. It was like a training game last night.
Yeah,
and it's a 12:30 kickoff tomorrow as well, which are always the worst kickoffs to have. Everyone says don't bet on the 12:30s because it will ruin your bet for 3 o'clock.
100%.
So tomorrow, I'm a Chelsea fan, but of course I don't want Arsenal to win it. I love Arsenal Football Club, but I hate their fans. All my pals are their fans. It's because
I get it.
You think everyone's better than everyone. I'm hearing Jorginho's better than Rodri. Like, come on, stop being silly now. Yeah, you're being silly.
That's stupid.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's hope Man
What
City.
I can say about Palace, doesn't it remind you of Balassi and Zaha?
Yeah.
Those days were funny.
Yeah. It's
But
very similar.
Yeah,
Very similar.
Just fun. They're just having fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry.
No. Look, it's football, isn't it? We love it. I'm gonna finish off some questions. We'll wrap it up with some questions. And then you'll be on your way, man. So my first one is from my son, my 6-year-old son. What's the most dangerous call out you've had and the most weirdest?
The most dangerous. So it's a bit mad. So a lot of my danger has been when I was on the gangs unit, but I didn't realize it was dangerous until after.
Right. Okay.
So there's guys I've jumped. When I say jumped, I mean detained. But the way I got to do it is I've actually got to get you before you realise I'm in plain clothes. So it's not a thing where I'm walking up to you and saying, "Oh, you're detained for a purpose of a search."
Yeah.
I'm coordinating with a couple of my other boys for one of us to jump you, take you down,
Okay.
and get you in handcuffs, and then we have a conversation about what's going on.
Yeah.
I found guys with knives. There's the most dangerous one I spoke about it on my TikTok when I had to jump a kid, but he was with at least 20 men. But I knew them because it was my area.
Oh, okay.
They know me, but they didn't know that I knew he had a knife. So I've gone in there with my colleague, and it was like 2 versus it felt like 10 million people, but it was like 20 of them. And we've gone in, he's fighting us, but they never fought us. They will resist us. So it wasn't a swinging, it was us trying to get him in handcuffs.
Yeah.
We find out after he's got a knife this big, unsheathed, down his trousers. I was like, oh my God.
It's crazy.
And while that was happening, all of his men were behind me, like pushing, being obstructive.
Yeah.
Not hitting me, and I'm like, I could get stabbed any second.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not wearing vest or nothing. I'm like this. I'm out in the
No
streets
way.
like this. No, I never used to wear a vest.
How do we tackle knife crime? In your opinion, I know we could speak about this for ages, but because it's the most talked about on our streets.
First, we need to accept knife crime is a thing in all facets of society. So I've arrested black, white, Asian, everyone for knife crime. I've arrested a kid that lived in a house so big. He had a servant. I don't want to say servant, a maid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
servant, that's inappropriate, but you know, a maid. I rang his doorbell, a maid opens the door. I'm like, why are you?
Yeah.
You're not about this life, bro.
Yeah.
You're like, come on.
Goes back to the choices of friends.
It was one of those ones where he was so rich his parents weren't there to care.
Yeah.
You know them ones.
Yeah.
And my man is rich. And I was just like, what? So we need to accept that it's a societal issue, not just a black or Asian or whatever issue. And the government needs to get involved. The police need to use stop and search appropriately. So people saying stop and search. No, that's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Stop and search people, but do it correctly. Train officers correctly and to be confident with it.
Yeah.
Because I was always taught, like on the gangs unit, we never used to stop and search or stop and arrest. Because I know you've done something. You're getting arrested. If I'm stopping, you're getting arrested. Like 99% of the time, you're getting arrested. Yeah. So it needs to be, it's a collective effort, and communities need to, the police need to be trustworthy, and the community need to embrace them. Do you know what I'm saying? Because where I was, the community loved us.
Yeah.
Do you get me? They'll see me. What's going on?
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Everyone's mum, dad, whatever, like, it's calm because they knew we only had the best interest of the kids and the area.
Yeah.
And that's how it needs to be with every single area.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Whether it's Croydon or Camden or wherever, Harrow, all of the police officers need to be talking to everyone's mum and dad all the time. But like, parents were my best source of information.
Yeah.
Because they don't want their kid to die.
Yeah, of course.
Do you get me? Like, I told a story recently on my TikTok where I've only really had one bad experience in my 13 years with a parent. And that was because she had mental health. So that was the only reason. Other than that, every single parent I've ever spoken to has wanted to work with me to stop their child being injured or them injuring someone else.
Have you witnessed anything fatal?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like talking about it. It was a big one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to block out a lot of stuff. So you know when you ask me questions,
Yeah,
I'm not gassing. Like, I actually have to think.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But like, there must be a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of trauma in my job.
Yeah. I can imagine, man. I can imagine. Since joining the Met, what's changed for the better and what's got worse within the force?
What's got better?
I mean, it's a long time, 13. A lot's changed, but
they're trying to be more inclusive. they're trying to be. So, and people need to understand that they are trying.
Yeah.
Whether they're succeeding or not, different story. The Met are trying to, they're trying to be more inclusive. What's got worse? Say what's got worse? I don't even know.
Probably,
I'm just
probably the inside of racism and probably that you're experiencing.
But it's not got worse. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's got more insidious. They've hidden it, but it's not worse. It's the same. It was bad. Like, just, and that's probably even more damning to the police because they couldn't get much work. Like, do you get what I'm saying? It's so bad that when you ask someone, "Oh, what's got worse?" It's like, well, could it get any worse?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if they started trying to kill me, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't really think of what's got worse, but what's got better is definitely that they're trying, and I can see that there's people trying, not the whole organization as a whole. There are people that are actually trying, but yeah.
What's your future plans within the Met or whatever moving forward?
Assuming I don't get fired in the next, like, that's a real, that's a real thing.
You think that's a possibility? Then?
Oh, 100%. 100 million %. I could get a phone call any day saying, oh yeah, gross misconduct, or get nicked again. Like, I've been nicked a few times, you know what I'm saying? So, like, never gone to court, but the police, I have been arrested and NFA'd.
Will you ever do anything like a documentary on your life as a Met Police? Do you think if it ever went sour like that?
It will go sour. It doesn't need to go sour. Of course I'll do documentary.
Yeah,
100%.
I think you've definitely got a story, man.
Yeah,
even
like,
not even just listening to you, but obviously like I said, I've watched you from ZZ Mills, and obviously go through your TikTok and all that now, and I can only imagine what else goes on which you don't talk about. It must be crazy.
Oh, it's mad.
Yeah,
it's mad. Like, when we turn off the cameras, I'll tell you more stuff.
Yeah, the last question with the 3 cases that I spoke about. So you got, a police officer who's raping and this, and then you've got murderers. And I'm not going to talk about the other one because obviously it's a live thing. But what is your message, and what would you say to the public and us moving forward, and why should we trust the Met Police? What would be your
I'd say
advice on that?
So, just so everyone understands the current climate, right now, the head of the Black Police Officers Association, or the Black and Asian, is saying that black people shouldn't join the police anymore. There should be a pause and stop. So, just understanding from that context, what I would say is society needs to demand more transparency from the police. Because that's what I'm trying to give you, man. I'm trying to give everyone, like, that's what my TikTok's about. My TikTok is basically saying this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So we should demand more from them, and we should demand transparency all the time, not when it only suits us. Do you get me? And that's what people do. We do as a society a lot. When it's something that we're interested in, so when it is a police officer being bad, we want transparency.
Yeah.
You want it both ways. When they're not, we should be advocating for the police officers that didn't do something that are getting punished as well. We should be demanding that, we should be looking at them. I say this as well. I got in trouble for this. The Metropolitan Police only do the right thing when people are looking. We should be shining a light on them all the time, 24/7.
Yeah.
As a society, not just as blacks or whites or whatever, all together, we should be saying, hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
In your local communities, you should be going to all the meetings where the police are attending and challenging them. Do you get me? Because they have like monthly meetings with your community, and you can go to those.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? All of us should be going. That's a chance for you to go and speak to the borough commander or whoever and challenge them on what they're doing, ask them for their statistics, ask them for like what they're doing, planning going forwards, all of that stuff. We should be more engaged with it because the more as a society, because they got the saying in it, the police are the society, or the society are the police. Do you know what I'm saying? We're both. Do you know what I mean? We have to go home too. So we're part of this community. So we should be engaging, and I think only then will you start to see proper change. So we should be keeping them under a microscope, watching them, challenging when necessary, and not only when it benefits us.
Okay.
Do you get me? But that would be like the main thing that we should be doing, and that's how trust will develop.
What would you say to especially the female officers, to the public out there, like why should they trust police officers when you've got people like Wayne Cousins, or whatever you say his name, pulling people into the car? What and you know other stuff that's gone on. Why should we trust? And anyone? Why should we trust the police? What would be your?
Do you want subjective or objective? Oh, we'll go with objective first.
Cool.
Objectively, we're not. I'll say we this time because I don't like to say we. But we, in terms of the Metropolitan Police, are not all like those dickheads. Yeah, the Wayne Cousins, the Carricks, the Black U, what's his name? Yeah. All of those guys, they're wastemen. Whether they're the minority or not, they're wastemen. There are a lot of officers that are here to help, and they dedicate their whole life to just helping people. What we want to do is get to a point where there's more of them than the other dickheads. Well, it would be nice if there was none, but realistically, they ain't going to be like that. No. So trying to have faith in that situation and protect yourselves at all times, in the sense that communicate with your family, communicate with your partners, blah, 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 blah. Try not to be alone. If we're talking about women specifically, yes, don't only rely on the police. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just try and keep yourself safe that way, because I understand why women wouldn't trust the police. If I was a woman, I'd be sketchy. I'm a man and I'm sketchy. Let's be real. I'm keeping it 100. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't necessarily trust all police officers, no, because I work there and I see some of them. Of course. So, do you know what I'm saying? Try and protect yourself. Yeah. Trust that there are loads that are trying to help you, and that's a fact. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So it's just.
I agree.
Yeah, man.
Look, for those who watch this and they're gonna have their opinions on that, and that's absolutely fine. I have my opinions and my experience with the police, but at the end of the day, Dom's a human being. He's a partner. He's a dad, son, brother, family member. And at the end of the day, they're here to protect us. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of what you think, there's going to be a point in your life where you are going to need the police. That's facts. Do you know what I mean? And look, they lock up all the nonsense, all them horrible people that we can't stand and we post about. People like him that are eliminating them. So yeah, just respect that, and you know what? Thank you for what you do with them, with them sort of people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man, I respect what you do. Been following what you do on TikTok for a while. I think it's massive that you're open up and you're talking about it. It's a shame that there's a price that comes with it, and like you said earlier, you could just get a call to say you've had the tic tac. Do you know what I mean? And that's quite sad, because I worked in an environment where I worked in a school. I was a gangs coordinator and I was working with all the young youths and stuff, and I was open and I was getting quietened down and shush, you can't do this, you can't do that. So I know what it's like. I do. Obviously yours is a lot more different, but yeah, it's a shame that.
Do you know what's mad? The Met are starting to now do, like, have you seen? They're starting to be on TikTok, Instagram. Yeah. That was all like off the back of me, you know.
Doing,
like that's what is funny when I get in trouble. I'm just like, I am the inspiration to all of this. I was in the meetings when you lot were doing all this madness, but yeah, it's mad. Look, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Look, you're very confident. You can see that. I don't know what's the word. Enjoy, but you can see that it's coming from here when you're talking about exactly that. That's the main thing. I think you will go to bed at night knowing that you've done the right thing. That's what. Honestly, that's one of the main things.
That's the important thing in life. Do you know what I mean? If you go to bed knowing that you've done the important thing and you're happy with that, do you know what I mean? Respect to you, man.
Nah, I appreciate it, bro.
Just keep doing what you're doing, and that's it. The finale of season 1. I said to you that I'll bring you something good, and big you up as well, Dom, because obviously I was watching one of your videos and I just literally left a comment saying, thanks for coming on the podcast, and he was like, yeah, no problem, when do you need me? And I was like, nah, this can't be real, someone must have his phone, this is mad. And I'm
there, bro.
Few exchange numbers, and you can see that you're just fully there to just help people, and that, take my hats off to you,
bro. That's what a police officer is.
Yeah. That's honestly,
I'm here to engage with the community.
I'm not just saying just
shout me like, and I'll come.
He's there, he's just doing it. Nah, he's genuinely there, and the man them know there are some good ones out there, because we've all been stopped time and time again, and we've been let off. And you know what I mean? There are some good ones out there. Do you know what I mean? We've all been through it, and thank you so much for coming on. I really, really do appreciate your time.
Appreciate you asking,
and it's an honor to do this and finish season 1, which is obviously a brand new chapter of mine. This is something new that I'm doing. And to end it on this, I really appreciate that, man. So,
It's nothing.
Thank you to all my guests that's been on season 1, from my mum at the start to talk about football and ex-gang members, and from players who have gone from prison to the Premiership. We've had everything, man. We've had the streets. We've had, obviously, an officer in the service in the Metropolitan Police. It's been one hell of a season, man. So thank you to all my guests who've given up their time and come on. Thank you to everyone that supported me, showed me nothing but love, commented, shared, sent me nice messages. Without you guys and the guests, this doesn't happen. And big up my guy Ray as well for the studio, an amazing setting. I literally just turn up and I go home. So big up to everyone. I really appreciate it. Have a great summer, and we'll see you season 2. Hopefully.
I have some stories for you still.
Yeah, season 2. But yeah, have a great summer, and we'll see you very soon.
Peace.